What up? What's going on? I just want to start this episode off with last episode we had a debate about Lord of the Rings.
Oh no.
And so I took a look at some of the comments, and I would like to declare victory on my end because so many people agreed with me that Lord of the Rings is stupid.
Of course.
All right, you've heard me talk about the future recently because I am thinking ahead and really concerned about the future of this country. With our skyrocketing debt, Democrats in power, and Joe Biden's spending plan, the future looks grim for the U.S. dollar, which is why I started diversifying with gold and silver. We recently partnered with Hartford Gold, and I recommend you check them out. They sell physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside your IRA. The process is straightforward and honest, which is why they have an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied clients. When you call today, they will give you up to $1,500 of free silver with your first order. So now is a great time to check them out. Call 866-530-7966. That's 866-530-7966 or text America to 65532. In a world of fake news, fake social media, and fake money, investing in things that are real with real value is the absolute priority. That's 866-530-7966 or text America to 65532. And
did they say it was witchcraft or something in it?
No, they just said
Satanic.
they agree. The bedroom scene with the hobbits is weird.
Okay, well, yeah.
I'll agree with you on that.
I can agree with that.
Where was the and here's the thing.
Debate,
okay?
yeah.
Even those of you who love LOTD, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, LOTD. Even those of you who love that.
Where's the D?
No, LOTR.
Oh, LOTR. Dang it. LOTR.
Lord of the Dings.
Yeah. It's the who sat down and said, you know what we need in the final episode or the final movie?
Pillow fight.
The climactic scene.
The British.
To show
The Brits,
the I don't know, the embracing of happiness
The British
between
did
the
that.
world. We need the hobbits to have a pillow fight with each other
They're not humans, though.
in a normal human bed while humans look and smile at
Okay,
them.
now one of them was an elf. The other dwarf.
Either
Yeah.
way, I'm just saying. How many people did that scene go through? And everybody's like, this is a great idea.
Looks good for me.
Not a single person's going to think
Well, see,
this
I
is
think
strange.
wasn't it in the book?
I don't know.
I don't care if it's in the book or not. Sometimes people cut things out of the book all the time. You can't cut the stupid bedroom scene.
Yeah, they shifted some of the scenes in it, like the spider came in the last movie.
Nope, can't put that in there.
But
That
it was
would
supposed to be in the
yeah.
in the second.
The biggest thing biggest issue with Lord of the Rings is what's the big flying thing?
Nazgul?
Nazgul? Yeah. At one point, Nazgul flies down with all the... Yeah, good job.
Oh my!
With all the hobbits, and
Nerd alert.
they're on this like epic journey, right, to get to the ring or to Mordor or wherever
Yeah.
they're going.
Yeah.
And they could have just jumped on this thing and flew there.
Yeah.
But they're like,
How
all
it
right,
should have ended.
see ya.
No, they couldn't. No. They could not get. Are you talking about when they're in the swamp?
Zach is getting legitimately upset right now. He
Yes.
is.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is-
yeah.
He's got his hand up. He is like, wait,
Hold
just
on a
a minute.
second.
Well, you see, the Witch King was on the Nazgul, so they was trying to kill them, so they had to hide from.
I'll be
it.
back in a minute.
Okay.
You guys figure this out. Okay. It's the same problem I have with Game of Thrones, the first season. Everybody's like, ooh, Jason Momoa is so hot in that.
True.
The whole first season is literally, what's her name?
Khaleesi?
Khaleesi. But that wasn't her first name, right? That's like what was
That's her
given to her.
queen name or
Yeah, her
whatever.
queen name.
Can't remember.
This chick literally was sold pretty much by her brother to these savages, and she's essentially brutally, earmuffs if your children are listening, brutally raped in the first episode. I mean, against her will, she's crying. Like, it's terrial.
That's why I didn't watch that.
It's
shit.
horrible.
rough.
It's
I haven't seen it
horrible.
either.
And everybody's like, "Oh, Jason Momoa is so hot." And what are you talking about?
Well,
It
that's
is
how-
a terrible scene.
Yeah.
They literally push a child off the top of a tower and paralyze him
Well, he shouldn't have been up there spying
for
on him.
incestual relations between a brother and a sister. Look, man, people crack people crack me up. Like it's just anyway.
Well,
I call out a weird scene.
Yeah.
And these are the same people that watch that and go, "There's nothing wrong here."
Well, that's my mom. She stopped watching it after the incest scene right at the beginning. I'm like,
but that's 5 minutes into the no, that's at the end.
Yeah, but that's the way it was back then. Like they wanted to keep that blood royal, you know.
Well,
and it was also a thing back then when you're trying to make a treaty with another country is to marry your daughter to someone in that country's, you know, like the prince or something. So
Yeah.
you can, it wasn't about the happiness of the daughter.
I
That reminds me
understand.
of a Biden story where
all I know is
one wife married the other son.
it's either way. I still stand firm in the fact that Lord of the Rings is stupid, and DC is better than Marvel, and I stand by that fact. We had some bad weather come through yesterday, and I always find it funny the people that are not used to the bad weather and how they react. The siren went off yesterday, and you would have thought that everyone in the office saw the tornado because people were ready to evacuate. I still believe I saved Jake's life because Jake was getting ready to drive about 30 minutes directly into the storm.
Yeah.
And it's always funny. My wife's sister is visiting with her daughters, and they were like, "What's that noise?" We don't have those where we come from. Like they had never heard it before. And I'm like, "Oh, that's a siren. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it."
Well, I'm also from Missouri, so when we hear them, it's like, okay, we need to get somewhere because they don't just play them for fun.
Well, that's Mississippi too. I guess, you know.
In South Carolina, they're just playing them for fun.
Yeah, South Carolina.
If
South
it's a tornado
Carolina,
2
they
hours
just,
away, we should play it.
yeah, they want something to talk about. Amongst friends. Last night, I mean, it was just big lightning or big thunder. That's it. That's all it was. Big thunder.
Our thoughts and prayers are with people in Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama,
they get
of course. Yeah,
Birmingham.
Alabama, man. Alabama always gets rocked.
Yeah.
Always gets rocked because they got nothing blocking it, man.
Right.
And so, anyway, so that was interesting. There was something else interesting that happened yesterday. I'm trying to remember what it
What press
was.
conference?
Yes, it was the press conference from Joe Biden, his first press conference in over 65 days.
Yeah.
65.
65.
Just too long.
Sure. Yeah, too long is what it was. And I watched all of it. I'm pretty sure Noah did too. Jake, I don't think you watched it.
I watched some of it.
Did you watch some of
Yeah.
it? Well, I watched it from beginning to end. And it was
painful.
every bit as horrific as I imagined that it would be. In fact, it's worse than I thought that it would be. There's so many things to unpack here. And so first things we're going to talk about are, I'm not going to play you the clips at first. I am going to play the clips of some of my favorite gaffes. Cause you have to call them gaffes now. You can't call them like legitimate Alzheimer's, like lapse in memory or anything like that. Or I literally saw him black out at one point.
Yeah.
He time traveled right in the middle of a sentence. But you can't say that. You got to call it a gaffe or you'll get fact checked.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Where are all the fact checkers for Joe Biden's press conference?
Yeah, for real.
I remember it used to be like a challenge. Every time Trump said anything, how quickly the New York Times, Washington Post, Washington Examiner, all these places could go every single time the president lied.
Right.
Or we fact checked every statement the president made, and it was up within like 10 minutes of the speech. And we got those like every 3 days because President Trump talked to the media at least every third day. At least every third day. I didn't see a single one of those. Stephen Crowder did one, but that doesn't count, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, we're all conservatives here. I'm talking about the major news outlets. Where was that? Where was it? I didn't see a one. Did anybody else see one?
Well, they were watching. They were just so in awe of this guy. Like they would phrase the questions like, you're such a moral and ethical man, blah, blah, blah. They were all softball questions.
It's pro-abortion.
Yeah, he had pictures of the reporters that he was supposed to call on. Do you see Drudge's headline this morning?
No, I didn't.
Joe's no drama press conference. his chill style.
All right, I got a crash course into home title theft, and you better pray this never happens to you because it can ruin you financially. Here's how the crime happens. The legal titles to our homes are kept online where they can be hacked. A cyber thief finds your home title, forges your signature on a quitclaim deed stating you sold your home to him or her. It's the equal opportunity thievery place here. Then he takes out loans against your home until he or she takes out loans against your homes until the equity is gone. You won't know until the collection calls pour in. You're not protected by insurance, your bank, or common identity theft programs. Home Title Lock protects you. And in the unlikely event you become a victim of title theft while a member, Home Title Lock will spend up to $250,000 in legal fees to help restore your home's title. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. Then use code RADIO for 30 free days of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
His chill style.
Well, that's another thing that broke late last night was the first thing that started rubbing people wrong was the fact of this was supposed to be a press conference, right? This was supposed to be for the press to be able to ask questions to the president. Pictures broke last night that this dude literally had, first of all, he had a binder, okay? And everybody on Fox News and all these places, they all said it. Even Chris Wallace, who hated President Trump. All right, Chris Wallace is a horrible, biased human being on the left side of things that just happens to work for Fox so they can keep it, neutral, I guess. He even said that he cannot, and he's old, he can't remember ever seeing a president walk out with a binder like a press secretary would. No one has ever seen that before.
Can you not answer the questions?
Well, but that's the thing. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you need. These are the subtle things that you need to start paying attention to. Presidents don't do that. Okay? They don't do that. Now, they may have a note card, maybe, with certain statistical facts because not everyone can remember, what our percentage overgrowth of the GDP versus the past 12 years as opposed to, the past 12 months. Not every person can remember those kind of things. All right. Hey, I'm cool with that. I got it. You got bullet point note cards. Cool. But when a member of the press ask you a question directly about what is it that you are going to do if North Korea continues to do what they're doing as an aggressive military posture towards the United States. What are you going to do? This man opened his binder and didn't even attempt to make it look like he was just, referencing. He did not even look up from the page. He read verbatim a paragraph statement that was written by probably somebody in their 20s on his staff.
Yeah.
That is not a president that is in charge. That is not normal, and that is not what people do. When they ask your opinion on something, hey, North Korea is talking crap. What are you going to do about it? Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me read this paragraph word. This was him. He might as well have done this.
Yeah.
I feel like this. And that's the worst part was in the paragraph. It was like, I will do this and I will say this and blah, blah. It was painful.
Scary too.
And then it became very clear, very fast, that he already had a predetermined list of who he was going to call to ask him questions. But what we did not know was that his predetermined list included pictures of the people's faces.
Yeah, I thought that was telling.
Their names and what number order to call them in. It was like everybody else was reading college textbook and he was reading Dr. Seuss. Ha ha!
Yeah.
That is,
nice.
Racist these days. Either way, these are not normal things. Also, for the most popular president in history, and some have deemed the most transparent administration ever.
Totally.
Oh, wow.
Definitely not that.
OAN, Newsmax, Fox News were not called
Yeah.
to ask questions.
And they were put in the back.
In fact, every single conservative-leaning news outlet were not allowed to ask a question. It was a hour and 15-minute conference, I believe it was. 59 minutes of those were used to answer questions from, I want to say it was 9 people.
It was 10.
10 people.
10 questions total.
10, but I thought it was 9 people. I thought one person got to ask 2 questions.
Well, there's several like follow-up questions.
Okay, all right. All right, okay, 10 people, okay? So you got 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes per person, right? And these were softball questions, man. I mean, these were, like Jake said, they would literally lead it up, do you think, I mean, obviously you're such a moral and good man, right, and you're such a magnificent person.
Is that why the people came to the border?
Is that why the people came to the border? Whereas if I was a question person, I'd be like, where are they getting these T-shirts at? That's where I want to know.
Yeah.
Because that's a real question that even mainstream journalists aren't asking. Hey, who are handing these people these T-shirts coming across the border?
Yeah.
That has to be organized. Like, you just don't randomly find Biden T-shirts as you're walking through the desert trying to come across from Mexico into Texas. Where are these people getting these pristine shirts from? It all full seems like somebody is orchestrating this.
Yeah, to me, that's almost like my conspiracy bells ringing, because if I was a conservative, that's what I would do. If I was trying to make it seem that way, I'd go give him a whole bunch of Biden shirts.
Well,
and why would Biden give him Biden shirts?
Yeah.
You know?
No.
Biden's flattered.
Let's be clear. Biden is not doing anything.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Let's be clear about
sure.
this. Biden is not doing a single thing. All right, I'm going to play a couple clips,
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about it. I don't think any rational person, any sane individual can look at that. When Trump had his first presidential debate with Joe Biden, I was very blunt. We all were. Wasn't his best debate. It wasn't. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good speech. He did not make himself look good in that. I mean, we were honest. Third debate, he killed it, in my opinion.
yeah.
I think Mike Pence destroyed Kamala Harris in their debate.
No doubt.
But either way, the point is, any logical thinking human being, if you remove your political lens of whatever it is that you're looking through, and you just look at Joe Biden as a human being, despite whether or not he has a soul or not is up for debate, but just as a human being, and listen to him speak and watch his eyes and watch him legitimately have these pauses where he's staring off into nothing, they asked him a question about gun control. And not only did he not answer it, he answered it with something that had absolutely nothing to do with gun control at all. They asked him a question about gun control, and he literally started talking about later on this week, he's going to go to Pittsburgh to announce the biggest thing he's announced yet. And I'm thinking, it's going to be something about gun control. And he goes, no, it's going to be focused on bringing jobs back to America. Because unlike the previous administration, we're focused on bringing high-paying jobs to America. Where is the fact checkers on this? Either way. Point is, let's play some of these clips. So I don't know what order these are in, so we're just going to play it here. All right, so here's the first one. Is the Bluetooth up?
Yes, it is.
Okay, here we go.
Regarding the filibuster, I believe we should go back to a position of the filibuster that existed just when I came to the United States Senate 120 years ago. With regard to the
Regarding filibuster, we should go back to the way it was when I was in the Senate 120 years ago.
Numbers are hard.
That's not a fumble, okay?
No. See, CNN said he was joking. That was a joke to say that he has been in the Senate for a long time, Graham.
But see, that's what I'm talking about, okay? That's what I'm talking about.
Trump couldn't joke ever.
If Trump had done that, they'd be like, Trump is showing cognitive decline.
Yeah.
Invoke the 25th Amendment immediately. He's a national security.
I mean, he walks slow down a sidewalk.
Trump thinks he's 180 years old.
Now, look. Now, I have actually been I have yesterday. Everybody's talking about the fact of Peter Ducey asked him, was he ready for the press conference? And he turned around and said, what press conference?
Yeah.
And I even said, no, he's joking there because he's literally grinning at him when he says it.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody was like, he doesn't even remember the blah, 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 blah. Look, I try to keep this as just completely just believing everything I see is possible.
Yeah.
In fact, multiple things have come up. That whole microphone thing, I said, nope, we're not running that. We're not doing it because
it took me 5 minutes to know.
because one, the odds of them getting it fact checked are astronomically high. Two, there's just some things it's not even worth it. Anyway, that was not a joke. That was just him just going. There was no, look, let me tell you something. When you tell a joke, it's like back 120 years when I was in the Senate and you wait. Everybody laughs. No, he went right into continuing on what he was saying because that was not a joke. That was him completely forgetting, a real joke, you would have gone off the numbers that you actually were in the Senate, which was like 40. So you could be like 400 years.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a joke.
Or hundreds of years.
Possibly.
And I don't know why they're playing it as him joking because he wasn't obviously joking. I think he was talking about filibuster, which was 120 years ago, but he mixed it up, which either way displays an incredible.
And wasn't he like super pro filibuster back in the day?
Dude, he was pro segregation in schools. Look it up.
Oh well, yes. Yeah, he's also the same guy that talks about Indian people in gas stations. Either way, point is this is the most loving and tolerant president in history. Okay, moving on. Let's see what's the next thing we got here. All right, we just found out Bearfac has saved another life, and that's 13 lives and counting. Researchers found that the average EMS response time was 37 minutes. In an emergency, time is critical. For example, an arterial bleed can kill someone in just 90 seconds. Look, guys, I'm not going to read this, but tell you the truth. I keep one in my vehicles at all time. They have cat tourniquets, everything you can imagine that can help you in an emergency. This is one of those things that you really need to go get one because you don't know when you need it until you need it. Cat tourniquets can save lives every single day. And you just never know. You never know what might happen. And I keep one in every vehicle that I have. And what's even better is if you use any of the parts in the Bearfac, a cat tourniquet, bandages, et cetera, to save your life or to save someone else's life, they replace it at absolutely no charge. So go to refugemedical.com and get 15% off all their first aid kits with the promo code GRAHAM. If we learned one lesson this year, it's to be prepared for anything. That's refugemedical.com, refugemedical.com, promo code Graham. Oh, this is the best one. All right, this is the one where he literally time travels in mid-sentence, okay? Like, it is the most painful thing I have ever seen. And then what's worse is at the end of this, those of you watching on YouTube, and you should go check us out on YouTube, by the way, at the end of this, he pulls out his picture book, and he still can't figure it out. So when you hear him at the end go, oh, I'm sorry, he's looking at his picture book of people he's supposed to call on. And probably what has happened is he's forgotten what number he's on of the people that he's supposed to call. All right, here's the clip.
So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to.
Oh, God.
my.
Bless his heart.
Did you hear the pause? Did you hear the pause of the audience? Listen to this. Listen one more time.
Anyway.
Did you hear that? That's people in the audience. That's people in the audience going,
It sounds like he's doing like ASMR. Like he's like,
no, it's like but that in the back, like that's the audience kind of like doing that kind of.
And most of the audience, like those reporters that were giving him the softballs, they say things like, you're such a moral and ethical person, but they know that that's all theatrics too. They know that it's all for Kamala.
Exactly.
So they are some of the most evil people on the planet.
Hold on. Let's finish this clip out. All right.
Yeah.
So here's the ending of it. So here it goes. You hear it? Here we go.
We're going to get a lot done. And if we have to, if there's complete lockdown and chaos as a consequence of the filibuster, then we'll have to go beyond what I'm talking about.
Listen.
Okay. Hang on. Sorry. Oh, same name. Miss Kim.
There it is.
Same name.
Same name.
Did you? That was definitely reference to Kim Jong Un. No, 100%, because he was talking about North Korea and like the question before, and he goes,
Oh, same name.
Oh my God.
he literally goes, same name.
You have the same name as a dictator.
It
Funny.
would have been Trump compares all
An Asian reporter to Kim Jong-un.
to Kim Jong Un. Okay, again, like I said, in that same statement before that, he goes talking about how much control he had in the Senate and he knew what he was doing, and then 5 seconds later he goes, "Well, I don't really know Senate policy." Mm-hmm. I mean, it is.
I used to.
It is. It's rough. Okay, this next one is so Biden. There's been two things Biden has done here lately, because he always likes to talk about his ancestry of being Irish, right? Like his family is Irish.
Yeah.
So
This is funny.
so there was this picture he posted on his POTUS Twitter page, and it's like nothing like bagpipes to welcome an Irishman, and it's him standing there with this guy playing bagpipes. Bagpipes are Scottish, I'm pretty sure.
They are.
And it has nothing to do at all with this. But in this, to give you a little, a little context here, I think he's talking about his great grandparents or whatever it is that came to America from Ireland. But then he says they did it because of the Brits. So here we go.
We're at war with Britain.
Better. When my great-grandfather got in a coffin ship in the Irish Sea.
Wait a minute. Great-great-great-grandfather. How
That's
many?
5 grades, I think.
That might be accurate.
Grandfather.
No. He said great-grandfather.
When my great-grandfather got in a coffin.
He said great-grandfather.
Yeah.
Great grandfather. So that's 4. Father, grandfather. No, 3.
That's 3.
Yeah.
Math is hard.
So hold on.
He could be right on that.
He's 82.
Yeah.
I get it's close. All right. Okay, let's listen to it. It's close.
When my great-grandfather got in a coffin ship in the Irish Sea, expectation was he going to live long enough on that ship to get to the United States of America. But they left because of what the Brits had been doing. They were in real trouble. They didn't want to leave.
If Trump would have said that,
But they had no
my
choice.
gosh.
So I can't guarantee we're going to solve everything. But I can guarantee we can make everything better.
What the?
When my,
We can't solve everything, but we can make it
I can't
better.
guarantee we're going to solve everything, but we're going to make everything better.
That's solving things.
Notice how he's like,
my God.
he is low key, slightly playing the minority card here.
Oh, 100%.
Like he is eking it
yeah.
in as my Irish. But if Trump had said as my Irish
Yeah, as your
ancestors,
white ancestors.
like got in a boat,
You
and
can't,
crossed the
but
sea.
even that, but you can't say statements like, I can't guarantee we're going to solve everything, but we're going to make everything better.
Yeah.
That sentence does not work. like
Yeah.
that is not.
Define better.
No, you can't say you're not going to solve everything and then say you're going to make everything better.
If you make everything better,
then
you're
you solved
solving
everything.
it.
Yeah, it's like this is what you could. This is what it should say. I can't say we're going to solve everything, but we're going to make some things better. That is a cognitive sentence. You see what I'm saying? Because that makes sense. You can't say we're not going to solve for nothing, but we're going to solve everything. Maybe it's just me. Okay, all right, moving on. Next thing. Here we go. Oh, this is great. So someone's asking him about Jim Crow. And this dude here we go.
Who's me?
the House. Now, I'm going to spend my time doing 3 things. 1, trying to figure out
listen
how
how angry he
to pass the legislation passed by the House.
He's so angry.
Number
Wait.
1. Number 2, educating the American public.
Right here.
The Republican voters I know find this despicable.
Uh-oh.
Republican voters,
So angry.
the folks outside this White House.
Folks outside.
I'm not talking about the elected officials. I'm talking about voters. Voters.
Here it comes.
And so I'm convinced that we'll be able to stop this because it is the most pernicious thing. This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. I mean, this is gigantic, what they're trying to
Who's Jim Eagle?
Some dude in
Tucker Carlson.
Tennessee.
Tucker Carlson said it best. He's like, we figured it out. An eagle is bigger than a crow.
Right.
So this issue
It's an analogy.
is so big, it's obviously an analogy for racism.
Yeah.
That's what Tucker said.
Which is crazy that he's comparing, like, requiring to be able to vote, you have to have an ID, right? And that law is equivalent to Jim Crow laws.
Yeah.
Like, wow, okay. To vote in our country, you have to prove who you are is equal to putting people in slavery.
Yeah, and he went on to say that, like, offering of water bottles, like, that's part of the bill, is that, like, you can't be, like, given a water bottle by someone in line while waiting to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he's not thinking about all the campaigns that are passing out water bottles with their literature on the water bottle and pressuring people because they just gave water bottles.
Right.
And now people have the very water bottle from a specific campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here's another one. And this is what I mean by where are the fact checkers? Didn't we just talk about it's an $86.9 million that they're spending to, like, house legal immigrants in hotels because it's the greatest surge we've seen in 30 years. All right, here we go.
coming. Let me say one other thing on this. If you take a look at the number of people who are coming,
Here we go.
the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of people coming to the border and crossing are being sent back. Sent back. Thousands, tens of thousands of people who are over 18 years of age and single people, one at a time coming, have been sent back, sent home. We're sending back the vast majority of the families that are coming. Let me say one of the
This is a blatant lie.
Yeah.
That is a blatant lie. Where's the fact checkers on this?
I got you.
Where is the fact checkers on this stuff? Like, where are the people that are standing by waiting on him to say the wrong thing and then fact check him on it?
So the Department of Homeland Security released new information about the border.
I stand corrected. Here we go as we speak. As
Really?
of 30 minutes ago, the Washington Examiner just posted, President Joe Biden held his first solo press conference on Thursday, but not everything he said was completely accurate. Again, different in wording.
Yep.
They
Doesn't
don't
make
say
it
it.
sound nearly as bad.
The
All right.
Washington Examiner is also a little.
All right, we're living in uncertain times, and millions have come to realize the importance of the Second Amendment. If you're looking for the perfect accessory to go with that perfect firearm, get an American-made holster from my friends at We the People Holsters. Starting at just $40, We the People Holsters are custom molded to fit your exact firearm. They have thousands of options, including an amazing selection of printed holsters. Go to wethepeopleholsters.com/Graham, and while you're there, check out their everyday carry tactical gun belt, which comes paired with a patented Cobra buckle. Every holster and gun belt comes with a lifetime guarantee. If it's not a perfect fit, send it back for a full refund. That's wethepeopleholsters.com/Graham. Get an additional $10 off with the offer code GRAHAM. That's also Graham. Go to wethepeopleholsters.com/Graham. Wethepeopleholsters.com/Graham. Offer code Graham. All right, so here we go. Let's hear what he says
in
here.
fact,
Let's see.
truth of the matter is, nothing has changed. It happens every single solitary
We're
year.
listening to this for the first time.
There is a significant increase in the number of people coming to the border in the winter months of January, February, March. It happens every year.
Biden's own DHS secretary has said the U.S. is on pace to encounter more people on the southern border right now than at any point in the last 20 years. And more than twice as many unaccompanied minors were encountered on the border last month than at the same point last year.
He, in fact, shut down the number of beds available. He did not fund HHS to get the children out of those Border Patrol facilities where they should not be and not supposed to be more than a few days, a little while.
Hold on, let's see.
But he dismantled all of that.
The Trump White House fought repeatedly to secure funding for more detention beds. Trump's administration asked Congress to fund 6,000 more beds last year than they did in 2019 and diverted millions of HHS dollars specifically for holding children.
Wow.
It used to be
Hey, Washington Examiner. Good for you guys. Good for you guys. Wow. That's the first one I've seen. Literally, it's the first one I've seen.
They'll probably be fact checked.
And I'm going to be, and I try to be transparent on this show. Hey, if you do your job, I'm going to, praise you for it. This was 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Washington Examiner on Twitter. So far, but check this out. It has 756 views.
Well,
isn't that quite stunning?
Well, it's pretty dangerous information.
It really, really, really is.
It could cause riots. Or
okay,
something.
so here's the fact that the DHS secretary released, Alejandro Mayorkas, in 3 months, less than 3 months, DHS released just 42 border crossers into the interior of the United States of America under the Trump administration. That was in 3 months. In Biden's 3 months, it has increased by 56,000%.
Yeah, it's like 40,000 or something.
It's from March 1 to March 22, Biden's DHS secretary released 15,000, and then the worst was February to March 22, which was 23,000.
Yeah, so almost 40,000.
So here is the final thing I'm going to play for you guys. I'm going to put some context behind it. So HR 1 is this huge thing that's trying to get passed right now through Congress. HR 1 would federalize our election processes. And a lot of people truly believe that this would make it to where there would never be Republicans again. Mm-hmm. Because if you federalize the election process, you take, and we've talked about this verbatim on the show, any law, anything that removes responsibility and removes power away from the states is bad.
Yep.
Okay? It's bad. And that's what HR 1 wants to do. It wants to federalize the election process. And Joe Biden and a lot of people aren't talking about this. Like sometimes, like when he had that brain fart, I even said it. I was like, oh God, the second he did it, and then everybody clipped it, right? Mm-hmm. But not a lot of people have started talking about this one. And they ask because he says that he's running in 2024, and then they ask again, and he's like, he said, that is my intention to run. Not that I said I was running, because basically he felt Kamala's knife at his back when he said that. But then a reporter asked, so do you anticipate running against Donald Trump in 2024? And listen to what he says.
Believe you'll be running against former President Trump?
Oh, come on. I don't even think about it. I have no idea. Sure. I have no idea whether there'll be a Republican Party. Do you? I know you don't have to answer.
I have no idea if there's even going to be a Republican Party.
Yeah, I mean, I
Do
understand.
You?
I don't think so.
This is the echo chamber he's in.
But think about that for 5 seconds. Like, think about what he just said. He said, I have no idea. I have no idea if there's going to be a Republican Party. Who says something like that?
Yeah.
Like if this isn't the plan of the Democrats through HR 1, which every single Republican is against this, then where does something like that come from?
Well, my opinion is it's the Trump, like America First Party or whatever that has permanently changed the Republican Party. Like, I am not a Republican. I'm a conservative who will vote for the Republican candidate if it's the best choice. But Republicans are on their way out. All these Lindsey Graham kind of people.
Well, but
maybe that's what he means.
This is semantics to a point. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is that there will be two candidates that are underneath a party, right?
Yeah.
So whether or not it is the Republican Party as we know it is dead and it's turning into the American First agenda party, all that's noise. Let's look at this as court of law type stuff, okay? You can't have a presidential election if there's not, you see what I'm saying? Like if there's not a competing idea there. Yeah. Because what's the point of having two people to vote for if they are of the same party and they believe the same things and they want to take the country in the same direction? See what I mean? Like what's the point of having an election? The whole point is you have two different parties that believe two different sets of ideals of which direction to take the country. That's the point, right? Yeah. So who says something like that? Who says, if Donald Trump had said, shoot, I don't know, I don't even know if the Democratic Party is going to be around by the time it's time for that to run.
The left would have lost their mind.
They would have lost their mind and said, Trump plans to destroy democracy by eliminating the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I just think it was another little flub that he may have meant something. Like, what do you think he meant? Like, they're going to destroy the Republican Party?
I think his thought process is he is so, and he goes on a little rant in it.
Yeah, he even says, he's like, do you? I know you don't have to answer my question, but do you think there's going to be a Republican Party?
But he swears that he is like uniting everyone like nobody's business. Like his policies are just.
He says the polls show that he may not be winning over Congress, but he's winning over the country. That's what he says. The polls show.
Yeah, the polls.
The polls show that.
The science of
polls. What polls?
Well, when you poll Los Angeles and you poll 10 people, well, of course it's
when you poll his family, maybe so. What polls? Poll some people around here and see what they think about Joe Biden.
Anyone who watched that press conference.
Poll 10% of my audience and tell me how much they love Joe Biden.
Well, that's what scares me the most. Not that our president has dementia, which is terrifying, but that apparently half the country can't see it. Like that to me is more dangerous than having a guy. Well, if he really had dementia, then we could do something about it. But if half the country's like, just so happy with him, he's so chill.
They don't want to believe it.
Right.
Like, it's obvious, but they're just blinding themselves.
I think they know it. I think that they enjoy having,
being on top.
This new generation, I think the Democrats in general, I think they enjoy knowing that the government is in charge.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Republicans at its core, whether it's really conservatives voting Republican because there isn't a conservative party or there isn't an American First party or a Patriot party or anything like that. They believe less government is better. Democrats believe more government is better. Now, a lot of people will fact check that and be like, actually, Democrats don't, but the Democrats that are in charge do.
And Republicans do add a lot to big government.
Yeah, of course they do. They all do. They all do.
Yeah.
This is politics, okay? Let's be honest. This is politics.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be having the situation we're in right now. We wouldn't be having all these problems, et cetera, if the 500 some odd people that are in the Congress and the Senate and the Supreme Court
Tom Rice
didn't want it to, Tom Rice didn't want it to be so. The point overall is I legitimately think that there is a legitimate push to make it to where it is impossible for Republicans to win.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, they made it impossible for us to win last time.
Well, but now not just presidential elections.
Oh, yeah.
Because here's the biggest truth, and here is the honest to God action over it all, is the president is only so powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get through Congress, you got to get through the Senate, and you can do executive action, but if it's too extreme, whoever controls the Congress and the Senate can freaking go after you over it, right? So they've got the presidency. They'll probably try to get rid of the 22nd Amendment before it's over with, okay? And then, what was I saying? Oh, now they're trying to make it to where we will, because they almost did not retain the House majority, and it's a 50-50 split in the Senate. Okay? They realize how close they are for the final 2 years of the Biden-Harris administration, it being a Republican-controlled House and Senate, and then they know that it's I mean, you know, Joe Biden is just, or Harris is just a placeholder at that point. There is nothing that's going to get done. If you have a president that's a Democrat and the House and the Senate are both Republican, it's a deadlock.
Like 2022 is more important than 2024.
100% it is. Absolutely. 2022, and we've talked about this over and over and over and over and over again. 2022, we have a chance to take back both the House and the Senate. We only have to maintain what we got and flip one in the Senate. We got the majority back.
Yep.
All right. I think we got to win 16 seats. What? How many seats do we got to win in the House? We shall wait. What's the current breakdown in the House? Or the current Democratic majority in the House?
Democratic.
Testing Noah's skills here.
Yeah, it's like you get on it too.
5, 4, 3.
219 Democrats.
To what?
211 Republicans, 5 vacancies.
Okay. So
13.
219, 211. So that's 8 plus 5 vacancies.
Yeah.
So that's 13. 13.
Yeah.
So you either so 13 seats is what actually the majority is really only 9 seats. And then there's 5 vacancies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Slim margins to say the
slim,
least. Yeah.
and it is completely winnable,
Yes,
completely
100%.
able to do. And so the Democrats see that. They're like, holy crap, we're really only talking about 14, 15 races is what we're talking about. And on top of it, Republicans are now going after who they view to be weak Republicans, and they're going to replace them too.
Yes, sir.
So the Republicans are going on like 100 campaign session for 2022. Crusade. Yeah. Not only are we on a collision course to take the majority back in both the House and the Senate, they are going to primary and kick out who they view to be weak.
Yeah. As we should have done
in the Republican Party. And so the Democrats see this, and so now they're trying to pass H.R. 1. And if they federalize it, if they remove it out of the state's hands, etc. Now, I will say that Governor Kemp has come along for some reason.
Yeah, he's trying to save his tail.
And
right
he's
now.
trying to save his job. And now all of a sudden, you gotta verify the last 4 of your social. You gotta present ID,
Racist.
signature match. What a bigot to be able to vote. I'm telling you what, man. The same people who say it's easier to buy a gun than it is to vote. Have you bought a gun lately as opposed to how easy it is to vote?
Those people also don't vote. So.
Hey, when I showed up to vote, and I'm just being honest with you, they didn't ask for ID or nothing. They just said name,
Really?
Robert Graham Allen. They're like, blah, 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 blah. Address. I told them the address. They're like, all right, here's your ballot.
Huh.
And so that was even here in South Carolina.
What Tucker was talking about, like all these people who don't have the right to vote because they don't have an ID, they also can't do anything else in their life. They can't drive a car. They can't live anywhere. You can't do anything with an ID. So who are all these people, adults, 18-year-old adults, that don't have IDs? It's like, how do you live in America without an ID?
That's what so many African American people are saying is like, this is such a knock to our like ethnicity, because they assume that because of the color of my skin, I'm not intelligent enough to bring my ID to the voting.
Right.
Like
Well, yeah.
it's bizarre.
And
Exactly.
here's my point. If you are not responsible enough to be able to maintain and gain the things that you need to be able to prove you are who you are to be able to vote, then you probably aren't smart and intelligent enough to have an actual vote that matters.
And that has zero to do, when Republicans are looking at this, it has zero to do with race. It's not like, oh, we're trying to snub out a certain race from voting. Right. Like they're playing it, and it's working somehow. And the Democrats, they're playing it as we're trying to bring back Jim Crow, and we're just not. Like, it's just not even close to the case. It's basic stuff, identifying yourself before you participate in democracy.
People don't like to talk
deal.
about the real realities of things. And before I say this, I preface it with, I do not believe it should be this way. Obviously, everyone should have the right to vote unless you are in prison. But either way, there's probably a very good percentage of Americans that are probably really too stupid that they shouldn't be voting anyway.
70%.
I'm sorry. I'm being honest. And if you really, really think about some of the people okay? And I'll say it right now. I've got people in my family. They're like, I don't watch anything political. I don't watch the news. I don't read things on the internet. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm voting in November. What?
Yeah.
Well, how can you know who you're voting for, or how can you know what you're doing?
It's like filling out a March Madness bracket.
If you don't pay attention, you should have to take a 5-question test before you're allowed to vote. And it's just 5 basic questions. Who is this person?
Right.
Who is that person?
First president of the United States.
You know, who?
What's the capital of our nation?
No. It needs to be relevant things within the past 6 months that if you paid any attention at all, there's no way you don't know it. Yeah. Okay?
The headline topics.
All right. Who was George Floyd? Okay? What's another big one that's gone on? Who is Hunter Biden?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't fly.
Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself?
Yes. I mean, I'm being honest. Like, if you don't know these things, you shouldn't be able to vote.
Right.
Like, you obviously have no clue what's going on. Hey, what is the difference between the immigration policies of Donald Trump versus Joe Biden?
Right.
Yeah. And if you don't know the answer to that question, how can you give a proper vote?
Well, what's worse is when people will be like, oh, that sounds like a Biden policy. It was Biden that said that. And it's like a complete, it's Trump's policy, but they're just siding with whatever sounds the best. And like, my roommates hate me for this, but I'm not a big sports guy. And I always ask them, I was like, all right, so who wins this? Like, how does that affect your life? No, it doesn't. So that's why I watch Fox News in my room alone, because that's actually covering stuff that affects my life, that will affect my life, stuff that's relevant information that actually does stuff.
I'm glad you brought sports reference into this. Let me explain it to you. For those of you who are sports fans, it's like that friend that shows up to the Super Bowl party and has no idea who any of the teams are.
And brags about it.
And then talks crap the whole time because they have no clue.
That's me.
What's
and they say
going
I'm
on.
Not a sports guy about 20 times.
That's me.
And then they don't even know who Tom Brady is. These are people that are voting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
They have, it's the same thing. It's the same. And I know people are like, well, that's kind of blah, blah, blah. No, it's the same thing. Same thing. Same premise. All right? Don't show up to the Super Bowl party. You can watch, but shut your freaking mouth and sit over there in a corner. Bill or Ben, maybe.
Cameron.
Cameron. Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah, Brad. Oh, freaking Brad. Anyway, the point is sit there, shut up, watch the outcome because you haven't contributed the entire season. You have no idea what's going on. You don't know the records of the teams. You don't know what the stats are on the line. You have no idea what you're talking about. Sit down there and shut up and watch what happens.
Yeah.
Same thing with voting. And again, I realize it's a slippery slope, and I'm not saying this really should happen. I'm just putting it in like realities here, okay? Like there are people who vote that have absolutely no idea what is going on.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people, mind you.
They're trying to lower the age.
People that are close to my family literally said those words to me. I do not watch the news. I have not watched a single debate. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm going to vote on November. Well, then you're a moron.
Yeah.
You are. You're a moron. You're a wasted vote. And, every vote counts. Yours doesn't. Yours sucks.
Yours muddies the water.
Yours muddies the water. You're throwing it like that, and it's going to land where it lands.
Yep. And then you have to deal with the repercussions. We have a president with dementia now because you hated Trump so bad that you were too blind to see.
It's like being at the free throw line and looking at the basket and taking your shot, as opposed to turning around and throwing it over your head. Now, there's a chance that you could get it in there. But the likelihood is it ain't going in.
It's just a slightly smaller chance.
Yeah. Slightly reduces your chances of being able to do so. An uninformed society is a dangerous society.
Yep.
Yeah, certainly.
An unarmed society is a conquerable society. And ignorance is taking over this country. And we have no one to blame, but honestly, our representatives, man. I blame our congressmen and our senators and our governors so much over this crap. I can't even explain it to you. That's another thing. If you are a congressman, if you're a mayor, if you're a city council member, a governor, a senator, anything, and you don't know how to work your own social medias to get messages out to people, you should not be in those positions.
Yeah, no, I completely
You
agree.
shouldn't. You should not be elected because there are basic functionalities in 2021 that you need to have the ability to be able to do, or you're ineffective in your job.
We are getting killed on social media, and we have the social media influencers, but as far as like dominating in social media, there's no Republican president. When your best conservative political or public figures are Elon Musk and Dave Portnoy, something's wrong. Like there has to be AOCs out there getting millions and millions and millions of likes and whatevers a day, and Republicans are just not getting it. And the best one, I guess, is Ted Cruz.
And you want to know why? Yeah. You want to know why it is? It's because, and I will give AOC credit here, where it's due. All right. Everybody deserves some credit where it's due. All right. She is so popular nationally with stupid people, but she's so popular among them because she says what she says. She throws it out there.
Walks away.
And walks away.
Yeah.
And she does not fear repercussions. She does not fear backlash, and she does not fear hatred from the other side. In fact, if you were her administration, you relish in that. The more ridiculous things you say that you know is going to set the entire conservative world on fire, the bigger your Democratic base, leftist base 100%. Becomes. And that is better for us.
The fake photo shoot of her crying. It's like, oh, people are making fun. Good. My base will now see that as you're laughing at.
Right. But the same thing is, though, and I don't agree on just doing things just to set everybody off, but we have people. I can't list 20. How many congressmen do we have? Republican congressmen and women?
211.
I can list maybe 15 of them.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that's because we know probably 10 or 12 of them personally. Hello?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. If you're voting for somebody that represents your district, yes. They or senators too. Senators. How many senators can you name? I got Tim Scott, Lindsey Graham, because we live here.
Josh
Senator Hawley. Ted Cruz.
Warren, Bernie.
Oh, okay. Well, oh Jesus. Yeah. Well, I was talking about conservative ones.
Oh, okay.
I could if we went through the states, I might be. The Midwest is a little tricky.
But do you see my point?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? That's what I'm trying to say. Freaking, you got Cory Booker, you got Elizabeth Warren, you've got Chuck Schumer, you've got Feinstein. What's Gillibrand? Is she a congresswoman?
Yeah. No. She's a senator.
There you go. See, I already can name more freaking liberal Democratic senators than I can Republican ones.
Yeah. Duckworth.
Yeah. Hawaii.
That's all I'm saying is if you have someone that is an elected official, whether it's a congressperson that's in your district or a senator for your state or a governor for your state, and I hate to say it like this because it's not clout chasing, it is the way our world works. If they're not being attacked by the left every other day on national TV or all over the internet, they're not doing their jobs.
Yep.
They are simply collecting the tax dollar paychecks, going through the motions, and then, they'll probably vote conservative when it comes to voting time, which I realize that is important, right? The vote is important. But if you don't have someone that is actually educating and speaking and having a voice, they are not the right people.
Yeah. Even if they're voting conservative, it's like, well, my family's conservative. I'm voting like all party Republicans. Like, that's not good either because some people we want to get out of there.
All right, but here's the other thing. All right, this is why they're wrong. Okay, that's great they vote conservative. Conservatives don't have the majority in the House. So every single conservative can vote conservative, and guess what it means? Absolutely teetotal nothing. It means nothing. Okay? It doesn't matter if they vote conservative. If they do not have the presence, they do not have the voice, and they do not have the ability to start speaking out so maybe some people will start changing their minds, then they're worthless. They are worthless to you, to your children, their grandchildren, the future of your district, your state, your city, the country. They're worthless. Period. Who gives a flying crap if they have a vote, if they're the minority?
Yeah.
Because their vote means nothing. And everybody gets mad when you say that, but it's the truth. If you don't have majority and every single vote is going to go Democrat because they have the majority, your vote means nothing. At that point, it's your voice and your leadership that matters. And we have a bunch of old, crusty, don't even have any clue how to speak to the vast majority of Americans. And you wonder what's wrong. You wonder what's wrong. Even if we take back the House, I guarantee you AOC will be the most dangerous Democrat to the Republicans, period. Because even if she votes, and it doesn't matter because the Republicans have the freaking majority, and no matter what she votes Democrat, it doesn't matter. She's still going to speak to millions every day. And then 2 years from now, when the voting goes again, she's dangerous because she has the ability to flip and change minds of voters. But nobody talks about that.
You got to go back. You got to go back and look at who AOC beat and why. AOC beat the number 3 most powerful Democrat in the House of Representatives. That's a huge person as a bartender to take down. And why did she do that? She was young, she had a voice, and she knew social media like nobody's business. In the Republican Party, we have the GOP. If anybody knows what the GOP stands for, Grand Old Party. Grand Old Party's over. There is no more
100%.
grand old party.
No.
We cannot, the Republican Party will not survive if we remain the grand old party. We have to get with the program, get with the technology. Lord, like just seeing these people type. Like I even used to work underneath the communications department for one of these senators, and they were even in the top tier of it. And nobody has the modern tech grip that the Democrats do, and we're getting killed by it. That's why they're with athletes nonstop. That's why they're in Hollywood nonstop. They've eked into every other level of society. So there's no wonder that people think Joe Biden's so popular. He's meeting with Beyonce.
Well,
and doing
Cardi B.
Well, but that also, we have these people that are politicians. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They're politicians. And they are incapable of speaking to America the way that America understands. I love Ted Cruz to death. I think Ted Cruz is awesome. But he speaks like a lawyer.
Yeah, he speaks like a
talks
president.
like a politician.
Yeah.
He looks, listens, and appears as the stereotypical politician out of D.C., whether you're good or not.
I did like his comeback to that reporter about the mask.
I do too. And I'm not saying that obviously Ted Cruz is a vital asset in all of this.
Sure.
100%.
But he's never going to take that next step. Ted Cruz, I love you to death. You're never going to be president. It's never going to happen. Never. Because you do not have that thing that Republicans are looking for.
Yeah.
And that thing that Republicans are looking for is this person gets us.
Yeah.
This person hasn't forgotten what it is like to be us.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz was a lawyer, for God's sakes. Okay? All right? Rand Paul was a doctor. All right? And I like Rand Paul. I forgot Rand Paul.
Yeah.
In the senators earlier. Apologize about that. Anyway, Rand Paul was a doctor. Okay. So right off the bat, they automatically are not the bootstrap blue collar people before they even got into politics. Okay. And that's not a knock on them. It is the establishment understanding of you have to be this lawyer, or you have to be a doctor, or you have to be an architect, or all this other kind of crap to get voted into Congress or the Senate. Well, that's wrong.
Jimmy Carter.
We need people. We need real people.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter.
But unfortunately, it's just like how the music game has changed. Music game, it used to be Jimmy that worked at a hardware store had a voice. Somebody heard him one day from a record company because,
A&R rep.
Yeah, an A&R rep heard him because they were shopping in that convenience store. And they're like, you got something, kid. I'm going to make a star out of you. That's the way it used to be with the Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Bon Jovi, even. All these people, that's how it used to work. Nowadays, if you don't already have music produced, if you don't already have a following, if you don't already have sales, if you don't already have the ability to sell tickets on your own, guess what you ain't getting? A record deal.
Mm-hmm.
The political world has turned into the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a social following, if you don't have the ability to speak to people, if you don't have the ability to have a voice be heard, even though your vote doesn't really matter because you're outnumbered in the Congress, what's the point?
That's why people like Dave Portnoy, Elon Musk have such a cult following, is because they literally are gripping the pulse of the nation. And it's not Republican or Democrat.
Right, exactly.
It's just common man, common people. And to be fair, Donald Trump did that.
Yeah.
And that was a huge part of his success. And he got caught up in it. And with the Twitter stuff and like that obviously boiled up. But people have got to get a grip. And everybody's tired of these. Oh, I mean, that's why you see Masson Cawthorn, Lauren Boebert, who are just electric factories in the House of Representatives. And we don't really have like an exact senator yet to like be that voice. I mean, obviously
Hawley's pretty good.
Yeah, Josh Hawley's doing super well, but he still comes from that background of a political background and then entering into
About Cotton.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Cotton's great too, but like all these people have their politician background. That's like, I guess my point is that there's not the way that democracy is set up is so whoever down the street that owns a pharmacy or like the mom and pop shop owner can say, screw it, I can't. People aren't hearing my voice. I'll run.
Right.
And I'll make my voice heard. And now you've got all these heir to the thrones. I've witnessed it, especially in Southern Republican politics. There's just heir to the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a congressional race, and there was like something outlandish, 17 contenders in the congressional race. And the guy who won had just gotten into the state Senate, and he won that seat less than 6 months after his first seat, just because he was automatically heir to the throne. And he's doing a great job. There's nothing wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not complaining, but we've got to get with that new edge program that the Democrats are running with. And it's just the Democrats are running with their common man, their purple-haired, liberal, left-wing person, but it catches fire in their audience, and then people don't even recognize anybody except the most inflammatory person in the room, which was AOC.
AOC, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think term limits would help with all this, too.
100%.
Oh, we need term limits. It'll never happen, but we need it.
Yeah, because the people voting on it are the ones that don't want them.
The people voting on it are the ones that have been there for 30 years,
Yeah.
so it'll never happen. And until we have people that stand up and change this, it will never change. It will never stop. It will continue to go forever and ever and ever. Anyway, that's all we got for this episode of Dear America. We hope you enjoyed it. We're all screwed under Biden. I give him another 6 months max.
Yep.
President Harris will be the president of the United States. Make sure to check us out on GrahamAllen.com. We got a lot of cool stuff going on there.
Yeah,
and
we do.
support us at 912united.com. It helps pay all the bills around here. Thank you guys for listening to this episode, and we'll see you all again next time.
See ya.